All right, good morning, everybody. Happy FOMC day. Let's go ahead and take a look at our trade plan here. Do we need to update this? So we said holding above 716, we're looking for 47 and 55. 47 is that tail extension of yesterday. 55 is an old Fibonacci extension from the prior all-time high. And then holding below 16 goes back into a value retrace, back into 03, possibly back into 92, which is Monday's value. The trade plan is the same. Overnight is two directional. They tried to push up and they pushed right back down to that prior low. We have a D-shaped profile, so pretty neutral for now. There is slightly a bullish bias because you are holding above value. So FOMC is at 2 p.m., so if we do start pushing down, that's possibly that weekly magnet, that weekly open magnet, kind of pulling you back down. Okay, looking at NASDAQ, pretty much the same story, but it's more slightly bullish than ES because we did finish that extension target already. Let's go ahead and raise our targets. I would say tail extension probably somewhere around, looks like 400. Let me see. Yeah, around 446. And then an older extension is that 525. So we'll say 446 here, and then 520 for that next target. And then holding below 113, we go back into that value retrace. So NASDAQ needs to protect the value low of today because it is more of a P shape. Whereas ES is a bit more neutral. Keep an eye on VWAP here, backtesting VWAP immediately. There's a big surge in Delta, bullish Delta coming in. Yeah, Trade of 8 is a little slow this morning. I don't know if it's completely down, but it's definitely a little bit slow. Is it letting you guys do anything on Trade of 8? Is it letting you put orders in or anything, or is it completely down for you? I noticed mine was a bit laggy. Completely down for you? It's working on your mobile app, but not on browser? Yeah. NT is down also. Yeah, NT owns Trade of 8, so they have like the same back end for the most part. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Scott, TS, Jose, Tachi. Let me pin the trade plan for you guys. There you go. Roman, Caden, Morris, Future, Banana, Nitro, Chris, Suzanne, Lubomir, Larry. Good morning, Leo, Ike, Mr. B, Faraj, Igor, Brian. Good morning, Fernando, Flory. Vanquish, Greg, Orion, AT. Good morning, Tamer, Julio. Good morning, Sam, Fable, Maverick, Constantine. Scooby, Pilot, Mauser. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, it seems like they're having issues, guys, so be careful if you guys are trading on Trade of 8 or NT. Their systems are definitely struggling today. Hopefully it's not going to last too long. It's very rare for Trade of 8 to have issues, which is why I use them on a daily basis. They had like a handful of times last year that they had issues. It's not very common. And typically when they do have issues, it doesn't last very long. Let's hopefully it will be done in less than 10 minutes or so. We'll see. But yeah, be careful, guys, especially if you have prop firm accounts and whatnot as well. So today we obviously have the FOMC at 2 p.m. There's actually nothing on the calendar in the morning, so it's just the FOMC and the press conference later today. Looks like that micro pullback chop is playing out better on ES. Yeah, I put out another recap video yesterday. Like I said, I'm going to try to have them out every Tuesday. So get used to seeing those on Tuesday, sometime between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. That's going to be the new schedule for the recaps. And sometimes maybe on Thursdays. I'm also starting to take little notes of like teaching moments on the stream so we can start getting the shorts out again. So once I have enough of those, we'll start pushing those out as well. Probably like maybe 2 to 3 a week. Constantine, I don't know if you're joking or not, but you probably don't want to be trading 50 minis. That's a lot of commissions. You could just be trading 50 of the large contracts. I'm assuming you mean micros when you say minis. But if you're trading 50 micros, then you're just getting killed in commissions. If you guys didn't know, if you trade the equal amount of notional value from the micros to the minis, you're paying about 3 to 4x the commissions. So if you're trading like 10 micros, that's okay. But once you start getting to like 15, 20, 30 micros, you might as well just trade the big contracts because it's the same notional value and you're paying a lot less in commissions. And that definitely goes for people that are trading 20 times a day, right? You'll start to notice the commissions even if you're trading 5 times a day, right? I don't have a 100K sizing guide. For the most part, you can just use the 50K sizing guide, and I wouldn't say double it, but you could probably increase the size slightly from the 50K sizing guide because the 100K doesn't give you that much more wiggle room on the drawdown, breaking through VWAP here on NASDAQ. You can basically use the 50K sizing guide, just give it a little bit more size. Good morning, Darius, Tom, Ryder, Sam, Carrie. Do I trade before the FMC? Typically, yes. So right now, most of my accounts are on Tradeovate. So Tradeovate's having issues, so I can't trade too much right now. I do have another account on Tasty Trade, which I can trade on if I want to. But most of my accounts are on Tradeovate. The settings on my tapes, there's no special settings. It's just filtered. It's filtered for 25 on the one up top. It's filtered for 100 on this one. And I think the NASDAQ is filtered for 10, I believe. Yeah, no special settings. I'm pretty sure the blue is default. Everything's default for the most part. I added like a block trade thing, so if it's over like 300 contracts, it will highlight it. Good morning, Ollie. Our D-shaped profile is usually smaller, like 10 to 15 points. Typically, yeah. I'd say like the average is like 10 to 15. Maybe a little bit less than 10. What's our value range right now? Let's see. Yeah, it's about 12, so it's pretty much average. The squares are just clusters. It's just showing you where there's really a high delta. Good morning, Chuck. It seems like Trade of 8's slowly coming back, but I would still be careful until it seems like it's like fully up. I wouldn't make that video, Sergio, because I don't teach people to use MES as opposed to ES in terms of analysis. So whenever you are trading MES, you should be using ES for all of your analysis. And this goes for every single futures contract. If you're using the micro, you should be charting and analyzing the larger contract. They should be nearly identical, like 99% identical. The the big difference would be if you're using stop losses that are like high of day, low of day, it can tick differently on the micro than it does on the larger contract. Re-losing VWAP, by the way, very sloppy open today. Be very careful on this open. It's not respecting the levels very cleanly today. But yeah, that goes for oil, goes for NASDAQ, goes for literally anything. You should be doing all of your analysis and your charting on the larger contract. Just be careful not to accidentally trade the large contract when you're trying to trade the smaller contract. They are completely different markets in terms of who is trading them and like the volume they're getting and all that stuff. But because of all the arbitrage that goes on, they are 99% identical. If they weren't identical, it would basically be free money. And they're not going to allow that to happen. Sam, it's the little button next to the camera. That's your scale button. So if you want to scale it higher, you just raise it and it will tighten up the ticks. No, I don't use Bookmap. You guys see everything that I use. You guys see everything on this screen or this screen, basically. The stuff that I have on my other monitors are literal copies of these screens. So it's a copy of this screen, it's a copy of this screen, or this screen. So it's just copies of my trading view. If you don't see it on my trading view or on my Addis, I don't use it. Opinions on Orb, I don't really use Orb. Good morning, eBay. I can't tell if my trade of 8 is fully working yet. What's our current price? 20. Yeah, it's still frozen. Mine's still stuck at 21. We're currently trading at 29. I don't know about the rollovers on metals. I don't typically trade metals that actively to know the rollovers. Typically, as long as it's the same week, you're okay. If the expiration is, say, on Friday and you roll over on Monday or Tuesday, that's typically fine. What am I expecting from Fed today? I don't expect anything. I don't try to predict stuff like that. The only thing I predict is what the market predicts, and right now they are predicting a near certainty of no change. Very sloppy open so far. We do have that FOMC at 2 p.m. and nothing really going on until then. Frozen again. Yeah, mine's still stuck at like 21, I think it is. I logged out and logged back in too, which I normally recommend not doing. But still no fix. It's not an Apex issue, it's a NinjaTrader issue. NinjaTrader bought Tradeovate, so both of them are having issues right now. Usually only one would have issues, but they're tied together now. It's prop firm related? I don't think so, because I have a normal account on Tradeovate, and it also is doing the same exact thing. Tradeovate works with Ninja Broker, but not prop firms. Yeah, so I have a regular Tradeovate account. That's just like the literal Tradeovate broker, pretty much. And that one still doesn't work. But I haven't tried it on the actual NT app. That one might work. Yeah, for the most part, Rocket, it's definitely a lot better. They very rarely have issues. I'd say out of all the brokers I've used, they have the least amount of issues. They still have issues, obviously. We're seeing it today. But I've stuck with them for God knows how long. I don't even know, probably 10 years plus. Because of the lack of issues. I mean, you're really not missing much. This price action is terrible. If there was any morning to have issues, this is the best morning to have issues. They're saying it's only simulation environment. I don't believe that, because I literally am looking at. I mean, maybe because I'm on the same dashboard. Maybe if I log out of all my Apex accounts and only log into just my regular account, it will work. I'm just not going to mess with it. I'm just going to let it do its thing. I can just trade on my Tasty Trade account. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of funny it's doing it today, because it's really not a bad thing. This is probably protecting people from a lot of bad trades. I mean, look at how horrendous the 5-minute is. It's literally barcoding on the 5-minute. Good morning, XP. Good morning, Victor. If you guys are just coming in, be careful trading right now. The prop firm markets are having a little bit of trouble. Tradeovate and NinjaTrader for the most part. How about you guys on Rhythmic? Are you guys doing okay on Rhythmic, or is it just the Trade of 8 connection? Because this is Rhythmic that we're watching right here, and this is fine. Knock on wood. Rhythmic is fine. Okay, yeah, so it's just the Trade of 8 one. So if you guys are on Trade of 8 or NT that's tied to Trade of 8, you guys are having issues. So other data connections, you guys should be okay. Hey, Flory, let me see if I got your email. So normally what I do when you guys send me the emails about Addis, I put it in like I send it to their team, essentially. And their team gets back to you in like a day or two, typically. Let me see if I got your email. Okay, I see your email. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see it last week because of the raffle emails coming in. It's kind of getting swarmed by the raffle emails. I do see it now. I'm going to add you to the... I'm going to send your information to their team. So they should have you extended within the next, like, 48 hours. Yeah, I typically get back to you guys on the Addis stuff, like, within a day or two. So if I don't send you another email in, like, a day or two, it's probably because I missed it. My email is disgustingly flooded by just everything you can think of. Scams, partnership requests from other scam companies, crypto exchanges, all kinds of bullshit. Marketing request. But yeah, I'll get your info over to their team today. How are the metals doing today? Is silver up another 20%? 20% a day? Oh, sorry, it's only up 9%. That market is insane. I mean, the fact that silver just completely ignored the margin requirements being increased is kind of insane. That typically kills moves like this. But there's such high demand for silver industrially. EVs, solar, data centers, chipsets, right? There's just a massive push for industrial silver. You're seeing like the largest inflows to retail ETFs that you've seen ever. All the retail traders are flooding in. I haven't looked at them recently, so I'm not sure how they're doing. But you might want to keep an eye on the silver refiners, because I heard the refining is like insanely backed up. Yeah, it looks like most of the major miners and refiners are already exploding, so that trade's kind of already dead. They're just moving with spot price, which is pretty typical. Yeah, all the charts I'm looking at are basically just mimicking the spot price, so there's no lag in that industry, unfortunately. Sometimes you can see that in the metals market. We traded that back in like the COVID era. By the way, keep an eye on this. We're actually breaking rotation for once. If we can stay below this range here, if we can stay below 21 to 22, they're breaking out of this balance. But yeah, we traded that back in COVID. Here's that value high of yesterday. So holding below 16 starts that retrace. Keep an eye on that. Where there was a bit of a lag in the market. And we made some pretty good money on the metals trades. How's KGC doing? That was one of the big names we traded back then. Oh yeah, it's doing much better. It's at $38. We traded that at $4. Oh, it literally has not gone down basically since we traded. That's funny. Basically, where we were trading it was the bottom. Unfortunately, we could have held on to that. Yeah, the energy sector is always like, it's very cyclical. It has like its moves, but it doesn't keep like a massive trend. Like everyone is expecting uranium and all that stuff, even solar, to pop off. You did have that massive nuclear move. What was it? Was it Akla or something like that? Aklo or whatever that stock was. I believe that's what I'm thinking of, like the nuclear one that exploded over the last few years. Yeah, it went from like $5 to $200. The problem with the energy sector is you really have to like cherry pick the companies. You have to find like the outliers. I don't pay attention to the delta that much anymore, like the cumulative delta breaking the trend, breaking the zero line, the bear divs and the bull divs, none of that stuff is as strong as it used to be. I obviously still watch it for like the flow, the overall trend. If you're seeing a very long absorption, stuff like that. But I don't watch it for like exact setups anymore. It kind of lost its power right now. I pay more attention to the tick by tick delta and the clusters than the cumulative delta. Now there is a bear div right here that is actually really good, but they're kind of cherry picked, right? It's not they're not reliable like every single time like they used to be. But yeah, there is a bear div here where the buyer delta was being absorbed on that push up. But once again, you can see that better on this chart here because you can see they're just getting massively exhausted. So they tried to push up, they ran out of volume, and they came right back down, turned into a sweep. So you could have seen that better than the bear div there. Yeah, my trade rate's not even showing me the price anymore. Is it back up for anybody, or are you guys still having issues? Okay, so this is the retrace of yesterday. If it stays below 16, you have that POC right here being tested. And then you have the value low at 03. Has to stay below 16. Now, NASDAQ is nowhere near yesterday's value because you had such a strong move on the pre-market. So we still have a little bit of a P-shaped profile. It needs to protect that value low or it goes back to the overnight low. So that would be around 230. Still down, yeah. Yeah, it's looking like it. Good morning, Trevor. Bounce back to VWAP here. We'll see if it holds below VWAP. VWAP being protected beautifully on NASDAQ, damn near to the tick. And then 24 EMA also to the tick. That's also back testing the value high of yesterday at 16. So staying below that is continuing that retrace. Yeah, Tamer, no worries. If you guys are heading out because of the trade of eight issues, no problem. Hopefully it'll be back up soon. It's already been like an hour, unfortunately. Probably one of the longest downtimes I've seen on Trade of Eight. Yeah, it'd be a massive move if that weekly open magnet actually worked. I don't know if it'd be that crazy, especially on a day that does not have a rate change. That would be over 100 points. I think more likely if it does act like a magnet, you could retrace yesterday's value, maybe Monday's value. I don't see it going too far below that. You'd have to have like a pretty serious pullback, pretty serious headline. That's not a normal move. You'd have to have like a catalyst, some reason. This bottom node at 16, which is right on that value high of yesterday, is being protected by the buyers now. Putting in a higher low, which is invalidating or threatening the bear flag and the VWAP on NASDAQ. I put out a recap yesterday that wasn't talking about the bear flags into VWAP, but we were talking about the bull flags into VWAP. I actually recapped yesterday in that video. Talked about some delta candle patterns, and then we had some bull flags in a VWAP as well. Keep an eye on the back test of VWAP on ES now. The dollar's having a pretty good day, so that could be a part of the reason why we're coming down. It does have a pretty strong negative correlation right now, which means they are moving inverse to each other. Could just be a coincidence, though, because they have not been showing a strong correlation recently. make a video about the current correlations, it would be a very short video. I would basically just start the video, say the correlations don't work right now, and then end the video. How much is the carry trade a threat to the market? They're saying it's not as bad as it was a couple of years ago. But it's always really hard to tell exactly how much is coming from the carry trade until the yen starts to have issues or they have rate changes in Japan, which recently I don't think they have had. I think we've had one rate change in the last year or so. The time it was a massive problem, we're failing VWAP here, front running it a little bit. The time it was a massive problem a couple of years ago was because it was kind of a shock. They didn't really lay out a very clear plan for what they were doing. And then they started shocking the market with those rate changes. And it caused panic. But as long as they lay it out pretty clear, like, let people know, hey, this is our plan for the next year or two or whatever. It's not that big of a deal. The macro traders have always been using Japan as like the first domino. The bond markets and whatnot. They keep saying like Japan's going to collapse, then the world bond market's going to collapse. Do they have any rate decisions coming up? Let me see. I don't see any rate decisions coming up anytime soon. Yeah, a lot of people are trying to tie it to the dollar, but there's just not a very mathematical correlation to the dollar and the equities market right now. If you want to pull a correlation, it's much more correlated with metals. So you can tie the metal strength to the weakness in the dollar recently. You can't really tie that to the equities market as easily. The correlation is just not really there. And it's not my opinion. Like, you guys can run the numbers yourself. You guys can run the correlation coefficients or any other way you like to find the correlations. You just don't really have a high time frame correlation right now. So here is an example, and just ignore like most of this chart. I'm just using this table. 1 second. This is a white chart, so it might flashbang you a little bit. So I built this table a while back to show the correlations. Ignore where it says ZN and Euro. I changed those to silver. ZN is silver. The Euro is gold. And then the 10 years, the 10-year, the Dixie is the dollar. And they're all correlated to ES on a monthly time frame. There's no correlations. So the dollar is negative 0.1 untradeable. The 10-year untradeable, basically 0. ZN, which is not ZN, it's actually silver. That has the highest correlation, and it's still untradeable because it's only showing 0.5, which means basically nothing. And then the Euro is not the Euro, that's gold, because I changed it, right? It's gold. Also showing 0.4, no correlation. So there are slight correlations, but are they at a tradable level where you can rely on them? No. The closest correlations we have are with gold and silver, and they are slightly positive, meaning they are slightly moving in the same direction. But for these to be tradable, you typically want them to be 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, like a very high confidence, right? If it's a low confidence, it means nothing. You can't rely on it for your trading. So mathematically, there is no correlation right now that is tradable. If I run the same formula with NASDAQ, the numbers all go down, so it gets even worse. Now here's a decent one. If I run the correlation on oil, they all get better, but they're kind of tradable. So it's basically just the commodities market is correlated. Like silver and gold are 0.85, 0.82, which means that it's positive. They're moving together. But yeah, overall, not tradable. If you guys ever want to look at correlations, the most widely used correlation indicator in trading is called the correlation coefficient. And it's not even really like an indicator, it's basically just a math formula. So you guys can use that correlation coefficient. Bear flag and a VWAP hitting your prior low target here. We'll see if it can continue to retrace yesterday's value. Needs to stay below 16. Yeah, I always stream FOMC, so I will be streaming from 2 o'clock. Press conference starts at 2:30. And then we'll turn the stream off when he's done talking. Yeah, have a good one. We'll see you then. Yeah, one of the biggest problems right now with correlations is the fact that typically the metals market is an inverse correlation, a negative correlation. And when that correlation keeps flipping from positive to negative, you just can't trust it. How are you going to trade that, right? If something is used to acting inversely, where, like, let's say metals have a massive run, you're like, oh, okay, let me go ahead and sell equities. Yeah, you go ahead and do that and let me know how that plays out, right? Equities are on a massive run recently, even when metals are on a massive run. So it just makes the correlations so hard to trade. Not only when they're not mathematically correlated, but also when they're flipping their correlation from the positive to negative side, or vice versa. Keep an eye on 16 here, still being protected by a couple of wicks. It's more so the POC, if you want to be exact. The POC is being protected. Losing that POC goes down to the value low at 03. Putting in a very slight higher low here on the 30-minute, lower low on NASDAQ. No, I don't do ICT stuff. I never really, like, fully learned ICT stuff. I just learned it from constantly seeing people posting about it. Back in the crypto Twitter days, it was pretty popular. Crypto would go through phases where it'd go through, like, moving averages, volume profile, Ichimoku cloud, ICT, Elliott wave, whatever. There was like a flavor of the month. And when ICT was that flavor, I saw a lot of people posting about it, making videos, etc., etc. So I kind of learned it from just seeing other people doing it. But no, I don't use any of those concepts on a daily basis. Yeah, right now is like, this is FOMC day, right? So, like, if you're trading before 2 p.m., good luck, right? It's just like, it doesn't know what it's doing. This is all just kind of bullshit price action that means nothing, because the only thing that matters is what happens after the press conference, right? This is all people just kind of scraping up the crumbs. Oh yeah, I can give you a very brief rundown of the charts, but I highly recommend watching my Becoming an Apex Trader series. I put out a 5-part series recently that basically gets everybody who's new to my channel up to speed with all the stuff that I talk about. But yeah, basic rundown of my charts. These are just 1-minute charts. A couple of moving averages, VWAPs, Delta. They are identical. One's for ES, one's for NASDAQ. This is just a basic 5-minute chart that I use for drawing out some very simple levels. Point of origin stuff, FOMC levels, morning high, morning low, stuff like that. Just like very basic naked charting stuff. This is a order flow chart with volume profile and delta. These are tapes, so we get to see the orders as they're coming in. There's a small tape for ES, a large tape for ES, a small tape for NASDAQ. This is a depth of market, which is typically used to see just that, see the depth, but I don't use it for depth. I use it for level 1. So I look at level 1 liquidity. I don't care about level 2. And then finally, I have a market profile and volume profile chart for the cash profile. So that is a basic rundown of my screens if you guys are new here. Yeah, check out my Becoming an Apex Trader series if you guys are brand new. The 5-part series with 5 extra Q&A videos. It'll help you guys get caught up. Staying below 16 here is still retracing yesterday's value. Like I said, if you want to be exact, it's the POC, so it's around 13. Looking for 03. This is a 30-minute chart. It's not a 5-minute. And I do have a 30-minute NASDAQ chart. I just don't look at it very often. I'd say like 80, 75, whatever percent of the time, very high percentage of the time, this chart is pretty much identical to this chart, NASDAQ and ES. Today, not so much because they're kind of doing their own thing. But yeah, NASDAQ, you can do the same thing. I would just recommend scaling it much higher. So I would scale it based on like points. So every like 2 points or so. I don't have ES scaled right now. It's just every tick. When ES starts moving very rapidly, which you'll probably see during the FOMC, I like to scale this a little bit higher. So typically every point or just every 2 ticks. It serves the same purpose, but it makes it easier to read. There is a rate announcement, but it's not a change. It's like a 99% chance, which is basically a 100% chance of no change. Yeah, it's 97.2, which is basically guaranteed. I always joke that if they change the rate when it's that high, somebody's losing their job, but I can't say that now because Powell is literally losing his job, so. But normally when it's over like 80%, it's pretty much guaranteed. They'd be in a lot of trouble if they had like a surprise cut nowadays. I don't remember the last time we had like a surprise change. It's been many years. I think we had like what, an emergency change during COVID, but I think since COVID, I don't think we've had like a surprise. More Lucio. Yeah, you got to be very careful trading on Tradevate right now. It is basically frozen. This is, like I said, I think this is the longest I've ever seen Tradevate be down. It's usually down for like 15, maybe 30 minutes. If that. Most of the time, it's even shorter than that. But this is a bad one. There's something happening. Their servers are exploding. I know most of our community is on Apex. Are you guys having issues on other ones right now? Are you guys having issues on like Top Step and whatever the other big ones are? Yeah, I think I show my settings on the VWAPs on my third video in the Becoming an Apex Trader series. One of them is a session VWAP that starts at 6 p.m. Eastern the prior day, whatever the session open is for you. And then one of them is a daily VWAP, which starts with the new day. The new day starts at 9:30 Eastern time. But you have to make sure you have your settings right and your time zone right. Oh, that's right, because Top Step doesn't use Tradevate anymore, right? Don't they have like their own platform? And from what I've heard, that platform is not very good. My funded's not working on Tradevate either. Gotcha. So it sounds like it's a Tradevate NT issue, not a Apex issue. I don't know what I have that set to. I think it's like 500. Yeah, 3 and 500. Which I did change that because the delta was so high. I could probably bring that back down. I used to have it on 300. Let me see if it changes it a lot. Trying to compare it to the delta and see how it's moving. What time was that? 7:20? Yeah, it's about the same. So 300 or 500 should be fine. 500 is just a little bit slower. It needs a little bit more delta to start shifting. Yeah, I'll just leave it on 500. The main thing we're using the delta color candles for is when you have those days where it's like constantly pushing in one direction, but the delta's the other color. So like imagine if all these red candles were green. It just makes it very obvious when you're seeing those those delta problems. Kind of like right here, where it's going down, but it's green the whole time. But that's pre-market, so that happens pretty often. I don't think we had any issues yesterday. Yesterday was pretty clean. But yeah, it just helps you visualize when you have those like ridiculously long delta trends. Okay, nearly finished with that retrace, looking for 03 here. NASDAQ, very different, remember, because you have that P shape, so we're way above value here. So same move on NASDAQ is just hitting the value, not retracing it. Which is also the overnight low, basically to the tick. 113. Little bull div on NASDAQ here, if you can trust it. There's a delta bull div there. Which you can't really see on the clusters. There's a bit of an exhaustion there. Yeah, it's not obvious on the cluster. Here's that overnight low. Oh, by the way, I haven't mentioned, but there's a lot of earnings today after the close, so watch out for that. I think we have, like, what, Microsoft and Apple today, I believe? We have Microsoft. Apple is actually tomorrow. I think we have Tesla today. Yeah, Tesla today. So Tesla, Microsoft, Facebook. A lot of bearish delta down here. Very bottom heavy candle. Basically need one more push down here to finish that retrace. And they're protecting the bottom heavy node, so as long as they stay below like 11 here. They should keep pushing down. Just watch that rotation. If they keep letting it rotate, they're still just building that node up. It's kind of a bad time to push. Look at what time it is. There are 2 minutes left on this 30-minute candle. It will create single prints going back to whatever this low is here, 12. If it stays down here. I usually use the Sunday open. Now this one's a little bit weird this Sunday because there's a big gap. So you could use the close of Friday if you're worried about the gap. Okay, only one single print here. It has to go back to 12 to fill it in. Just needs to break above that node a little bit. Okay, single print is filled in. There was only one or two, so that wasn't hard to do. What low is that? Is that the overnight low? Yeah. So overnight low, point of origin, giving a really good flip zone here. Support, support, and now we're hitting it again as resistance. We'll see if they can hold below this 24 here. 24 EMA being retested. Yeah, it's hard to say on ES because you have four major nodes and they're all going one directionally, so you could say it's a trend profile. And the same thing with the full session. It looks like a D-shaped profile, but you're breaking that lower tail. You're kind of extending the tail here. It needs to hit 03 at this point, or it's going to create an incomplete auction. You definitely want to fill that in because you've already filled in like 75% of that move. The White House page, let me see if it's on the calendar. It's not on the calendar, but I see it on YouTube. There is a White House uh, press briefing coming up with Trump. It doesn't have a time on it. It just says begins shortly, so possibly like 11:30, maybe 12. He's talking about the Trump accounts. The I believe he's referring to like the kid accounts, like the I forget what it is. It's like every child gets $1,000 savings account or something like that. Something along those lines. Volume's coming down quite a bit. It's already been a low volume day anyway because of the FOMC. Seems like a lot of people are waiting on that FOMC. Possibly waiting on earnings as well. Pretty big earnings coming out. What did we say? Microsoft, Facebook, and Tesla, I believe it was. This candle's not looking too good. Very weak buyer support on the bottom. The buyers pushed up into the high and then instantly gave up the node. They're not protecting that 13 node. We'll see if it puts in a higher low here. They're trying to put in a higher low by protecting this node at 11, which is basically where that POC is. Just barely below that POC here. Thirty-minute highs have been protected pretty much the whole day until, 5:30 a.m. You had this one big break on the open, came back down and wicked it. Took out the low, took out the low. 30-minute high being protected again. Not any clear signals on the indicators, basically just confirming the downtrend. Hitting the trail, selling the trail. Hitting the trail on the open there, sold it. Double pivot. Yeah, I think you're right. Trade of 8 looks okay. I'd still be a little safe. Be careful. It does look like it's coming back. Losing this 11 node here, so trying to break that higher low structure. O3 is the retrace of yesterday. It should be the same target on our trade plan, I believe it is. Yeah, O3 and then 92. I think Trump started speaking on the accounts. So watch out for the liquidity. It might get pulled a little bit. There's a trade lock, is there? Let me see. I'll test one of my Apex accounts. Yeah, I think you're right. It's not really like prompting me or anything. It's just like not accepting the order. No, I don't use options gamma. I look at it every now and then during like massive expirations, but not on a daily basis. I don't use like really any third party tools or outside tools or anything like that. If it's not on Addis or not on TradingView, I don't use it. The only thing else the only other thing I use is the Athena bot that I made on ChatGPT. I use it for like news and earnings and stuff like that. But that's like the only outside thing that I use. I appreciate you letting us know. Yeah, there must be something seriously wrong, because like I said, this like never happens. Rate of 8 is usually only down for a very small amount of time. Could be a bulldog here. There is a double bottom. You have the curved back. You don't have the pullback yet. It would have to pop up and pull back a little bit. This would kind of be a bad variation, but you do have a decent amount of room back to VWAP. So it wouldn't be exactly a bear flag in a VWAP. All right, guys, we're coming to the end of the stream here. Let me check the likes here. Are we doing a giveaway today? We're at 94. If you guys can push that above 100, we'll do a giveaway. I'm pretty sure you guys can. We'll do an Apex account giveaway, which, funny enough, you can't use it today if you're doing Trade-Evade. Because Trade-Evade is down. So if you do win this account, you might want to sign up for Rhythmic or wait for Trade-Evade to start working again. All right, same as always. We're going to do a Apex account giveaway. By the way, Bulldog has failed. The head of Bulldog is too deep. It needs to stay pretty shallow. It would need to stay above like 11 there, so no Bulldog. But yeah, same as always, pick a number between 1 through 50. Only pick one number. If you pick more than one, I'm just going to ban you. If there is a tie, we will do a tiebreaker. This is going to give you a promo code for a Apex account. You can sign up for any size you want and then put the code in. And it will give it to you for free for 30 days, and then it goes back to regular price, I believe. So after 30 days, make sure to go back to the brew code if you want a discount. Which, by the way, it is 90% off right now until, I think, Wednesday. Next Wednesday. There's also cheaper resets, and the higher accounts are cheaper as well. $30-minute highs being massively protected today, going all the way back to 5:30 a.m. You have not stayed above a 30-minute high. So keep an eye on that. Very strong trend. If you guys are heading out before the giveaway, I appreciate you guys being here. I will be streaming tomorrow, same time as always. I'll actually be streaming today, back at 2 p.m. So if you guys want to come back in a couple of hours, I will be streaming for the FOMC 2 p.m. and 2:30 for the press conference. But if you are heading out today, I will be streaming tomorrow, same time as always. I'll be in Discord, streaming for the rest of the day as well. Oh yeah, let me remind you guys while you guys are picking your numbers. This is the last week to send me your raffle tickets for January. We're going back to our old raffles that we used to do. So make sure to have any receipts. If you guys used code BREW on Apex, make sure to send me those receipts. I keep forgetting to put my damn email on there, but I'll type it in chat here. Just go ahead and send them over to that email. Try to put them all in one email if possible. If you have to do like 2, it's okay. But don't spam me with like 20 emails. So how it works is every 50K account size, you get 1 ticket. So if it's 100K, you get 2 tickets, 150, 3 tickets, so on and so forth. So if you have 10 50K accounts, it's 10 tickets, right? You guys can do the math. But I'll be pulling random winners for Discord prizes and cash prizes. Cash prizes will be from PayPal. Just have those sent to my email before Saturday. I'm going to be pulling that on Sunday. All right, guys, I'll give you like 10 more seconds. Pick a number between 1 and 50. Only pick one number, and we'll do a tiebreaker if you tie. If I do pull your number, let me know right away that you won. I'll double check your chat history. All right, here we go. For the first roll, my final name is JC. JC is the final name. Number is 14. I do see a 14. I see you, DRC. Anybody else? I do see another one, Nicholas. Are those the only two, or did I miss somebody? Nicholas and DRC. I see you guys. I'll give you another 10 seconds or so. If I missed you, let me know. All right, last chance. Did I miss anybody? DRC and Nicholas. Pick a number between 1 and 10. I'll do a tiebreaker. Bottom heavy candle here, still looking for 03. It basically is already hit. So if you guys are trading that retrace has been completed. Below 03, you're looking for 92. DRC has 7, Nicholas has 6. Good luck, guys. Okay, it really doesn't like you guys. Okay, it was 7. It only took me like 10 rolls. All right, DRC, you are the winner. Go ahead and send me an email. It should be giveaway.daytradertrading@gmail.com. There you go. Go ahead and send me an email with your YouTube name, and I'll send you a random number to confirm in chat. Okay, so now that retrace is complete, that is our first trade plan target. Second target is 92. That is the value high of Monday if it can hold below that 03. So far, not looking like it. All right, guys, if you are heading out, I will be streaming again in a couple of hours. I'll be back at 2 p.m. for the FOMC stream. I stream the initial FOMC, the press conference, and then we stop streaming as soon as the press conference is over. So come back for that. Let me see if you emailed me, DRC. I got you, DRC. I'm going to send you a random number here. As soon as my Opera starts working. Trading is available on Tradeovate now. Awesome, thank you. Did you see my email, DRC? Yeah, confirm that number in chat. There you go. Okay, I see you. All right, so now look out for the promo code. I'm going to send you a promo code, and then you can sign up for any size account on Apex, either Tradeovate, Rhythmic, whatever, and then just put that promo code in, and it will give you a free account for 30 days. But all right, guys, I will see you in a couple of hours. If you guys are in Discord, I'll see you there. I will be back on YouTube at 2 p.m. So right now it's 11:40 my time. So in a couple of hours. But all right, guys, I'll see you then. Peace.